What is up and welcome back, guys. Today we're going to do something awesome. Today we're working on Adrian's WRX STi and we're going to make it a little bit louder and do a couple other things. We're going to be actually doing quite a lot. So we have the same downpipe as I have on Project Daily, the 04 STi. It's the NVIDIA Catalyst divorced 3-inch downpipe. He's already heat wrapped it, similar to what I've done, but he went all the way. Where I only went to here, but it's pretty much the same thing. And then we have some wing stiffies for the wings, and then we also have some gold wrap that goes on the SPT intake. We got an SPT heat shield, and we have a turbo blanket somewhere in these boxes. And to top it all off, we have a 3-inch straight pipe, essentially what it is, that exits in a 4-inch tip. So it's gonna get pretty loud. You know how loud my car was when we first put on the exhaust? Yeah, this is gonna be louder than that. Because the exhaust that I have, the NVIDIA N1 on Project Daily, does have a straight through muffler. This literally has no straight through muffler, no resonator, nothing. And it's gonna be paired with a Catalyst downpipe. It's gonna get loud. But before we install any of that, we gotta lift the car up, so it should be done like that. So there we go, we have the whole car lifted up, way higher than I usually lift up my car, but it makes it so much easier to work under it. So we sprayed everything with some Seafoam Deep Creep. This is my go-to penetrating oil. It works the best, I find, for rough Canadian rusted bolts. And I think the first thing we really gotta do is just remove the old exhaust, and then we can start cleaning everything up and putting on this. So in addition to doing all the exhaust stuff, Adrian's also gonna be, or I'm gonna be doing it while Adrian's starting to take off the downpipe, is we're gonna be painting his wiper arms. Cause like every Subaru ever is missing paint on the wiper arms. So I'm just gonna take these off and then paint them exactly how I painted mine on Project Daily. So one of the biggest things is already coming off. This is so much quicker than when we did the exhaust in my car. But we are pulling the downpipe off. There's still the O2 sensor on it, but we needed to get it out and down low so we can actually access it. Because once we got the wrench in there, it was stuck, so you have to bring it down and then you can put your socket or your sensor wrench on it and actually get that off. And then here's the wiper arms. I'm just starting to sand them down and get them ready for primer and paint. I'm not gonna film too much of this because you guys have already seen me do this. If any of you guys have ever worked on exhaust and you guys know how much of a pain the O2 sensor is. So this is pretty much the thing holding this up right now. It's this stupid O2 sensor. It just does not want to get out. And we have the same problem with my car. If you go to like one of my very first videos, it took us like an hour to get it off of my car, unfortunately. All it took was some of this Seafoam Deep Creep and a couple minutes and it's finally off. But there we go, we finally have the exhaust off. These stupid hangers are the worst thing ever. These two are right here, really easy. It's that one that's behind the muffler that's literally impossible. And right behind like trailing arm mounting position, yeah, it's impossible. There we go, we have the stock exhaust off of the STi. Now it's time to pull this out and then start putting on the new one. First thing that's gonna come up for the new exhaust will be the downpipe, because before we put any of the heat shielding or heat blinkets in, we want to get all the bolts for the downpipe in, because essentially this area is all going to be covered up. And here's the downpipe right now. And just like that, we have the downpipe in. Check out that heat wrap. I love the look of this heat wrap. It's the DEI heat wrap. It's the non-fiberglass stuff, so actually you can like touch it and then you don't get those little fiberglass splinters in your hands. So it's great for wrapping and it makes it a lot easier. And then it's just got stainless steel zip ties, the same stuff we used on Project Daily. So now we're gonna put the studs in for the downpipe. Adrian's already got the O2 sensor in and the hangers because it was super easy. And after that, it's time to start putting in the rest exhaust and the heat management system. I'm looking in the box, I'm like, we have a gasket out, but we didn't put a new gasket in. So we just gotta slide the downpipe a little bit out and then put the new gasket in. There we go, we got all the bolts in. They've all been anti-seized, something I should be doing on my car, but kind of forgot about it. And we're trying to figure out how this heat blanket goes on the turbo. Supposedly you're supposed to take the turbo off, but We ain't gonna do that. Just looking at the instructions, this is gonna be a mess to install because I can see why they want you to take the turbo off, because you gotta run it around your up pipe tube right here, so the turbo's actually flipped around in this picture, and you run your wires across and around, and there's not a lot of room in these Subarus, as you guys know. Adrian got the blanket on after some fighting with the stupid wire, because you have to like wire it through under everything. It's just a mess. Now he's putting on an extra one of those stainless steel zip ties, just because the one he put on the very top actually wasn't holding it. I'm not sure exactly how I did mine, but mine seems to hold. I think it's because I put it down lower like he is right now. And that's just letting it, because it tapers down, when you like tighten it, it wants to slide down. So if you do one at the bottom and one at the top, it should hold it even during like extreme conditions. But pretty much we're getting close actually. Now we got to do the exhaust, the heat shield for the turbo. And there we go. There is all the heat wrap and turbo blanket on. That is definitely going to help with the heat a lot, especially with your intercooler right here. Now it's time for the heat shield, and that is pretty easy. All it does is sandwich in between the intercooler mounting brackets, and Adrian's already put on some gold wrap on the underside of it. I'll show you once he gets that ready, but it's gonna help with the heat once again. This is all really to help keep the temps down, because as you guys know, once you keep the temps down, especially with turbo cars, you get a little performance gain. And there's the heat shield, it's all nice and polished. And here's the underside of gold wrap. I love the look of this gold heat wrap. It's just the coolest thing ever. And there we go, check it out. It's the only shiny thing in this bay, but it looks great. So now we go from heat shield to intake. So the intake is now taken off. It's super easy. The SPT intake literally is like 3 bolts and then your MAF. And now Adrian is going to actually gold wrap it with the same stuff that he put on the bottom of the heat shield to help this from preventing getting heat soaked, because it is metal, so anything that you can prevent from heating up that's metal will keep your engine temps down. So Adrian finally got the gold wrap on. That stuff is really hard to work with. It's not like vinyl wrap or even window tint film where it kind of is malleable enough that you can get around corners and stuff. This stuff will only go one direction only, but it still looks super cool because it's a lot of gold shine in the engine bay. Oh, rip. But as you can see, there is some creases here and there, but that's just to be expected when we're working with that product. Well, I can tell you what's the first thing people are going to look at when they open this engine bay. Look at how gold that is. This is from like standing, and you can just see the bright gold intake. There we go, it is finally on there. You had to take out the stock diffuser just because it was conflicting with like where it goes by the rear diff, but that's not really a big deal because Adrian's eventually going to make his own. So we just got to tighten up all the bolts, make sure it's all good, and then we are ready to start it. So he'll be doing the same similar tune setup that I have running, the 91 Stage 2 Arizona, Nevada, California tune. It makes the timing a little more retarded so it doesn't wreck the motor till you get a Pro tune, because that tune is built for a catted downpipe. We both have catless downpipes, and we are both going to go get Pro tuned probably sooner than later, so we're just running that till we go get it Pro tuned. It's not recommended you run it for very long or you beat hard on the car, because that's when things go wrong. There we go. It is all done. Everything's installed. Adrian said we'd be done at 3:30. It is exactly 3:30. Look at that, he's good at predicting times. Also, everything went pretty smooth actually on this car because it's not as rusted and stuff have been off, and Adrian knows what he's doing. All 3 of those helped a lot, but there's the engine bay. So we have the gold heat wrap, we have the heat shield, and we have the blanket, and then downpipe down there, heat wrap, and then also the headers are heat wrapped. So every part of the exhaust on this car is got some kind of heat wrap on it. Showed you guys that we had to take off the diffuser just because it was hitting, and we'll take a look at the stock exhaust actually, and I'll show you. So the stock exhaust goes like this, and then you have this guy, sitting right like this. And you can see there's a cutout right here. But this is only a 2-inch pipe. The new pipe's a 3-inch, so actually it was hitting right here. So Adrian, if he wants, he was saying he might cut this up, or he just might leave it, and when we make our own diffusers, he will build it right around the exhaust. We're not done. We have one more thing to take off. Ta-da! So that is a 4-inch exit on a 3-inch pipe. That looks so good. And look at, not a single muffler on there. That's gonna be quite loud. But as you can see, it's stainless all the way down. That's some crazy exhaust right there. This is gonna be so loud, holy. Now it's time to flash the ECU using the cob access port. So what you do is you connect 2 little green connections under the dash, and then you go into the reflash and tuning thing, and then you just flash it with whatever tune you want. Eventually when you get it pro-tuned, this is a similar process, but they run it on the dyno, check your AFRs, and then once everything's flashed, you turn it off, take off your little green test connectors, and then your ECU is flashed. It is time, he is starting it. Okay, good. Tractor? What? That's near you. There's a freaking tractor. Oh my god. That is the greatest thing ever. When the car was running, Adrian just rolled under it and checked it out and made sure there was no exhaust leaks. He found a couple, so now he's tightening them up. And we just gotta check the exhaust leaks, make sure they're fixed, so time to start it up again. Now that we have everything installed, it's finally time to lower the car and get it back on the wheels. So, Taylor showed up, and this is Taylor's first time hearing this, so let's see. Start it up, Adrian. A little bit loud. It's louder, way louder than mine. Well, it's literally a straight pipe, same size. So I also finished up painting the arms. So we're using different painter than I used before. This is like interior, exterior, like a shiny semi-gloss. It actually looks really good. I kind of wish I did a semi-gloss on my arms because the mat's just a little too plain. So Adrian's decided to ruin my beautiful paint job and put on his wipers. No, they're a little bit tacky, but they're pretty good, and we are just putting them on now. They look so much better than they did before. Like, it's all one solid color, and the paint itself actually is pretty good. It's a little glossier than stock, but I think it fits pretty well with everything. Now, since we kind of want to hear what it sounds like when he's going in, we also want to see if it shoots fire. That's the big thing. See if it shoots a little flame. Even though it's not tuned, it might. So, put the GoPro on, put the mic on. Hopefully we don't blow up the microphone. I put it as far away as I could on the exhaust.
And then in bed, you can go back and go.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna die. You're gonna be playing with your exhaust.
All the windows closed, and it's actually not too droney, just cruising. Once you get into 5th gear and downshift, you definitely hear it, but at 6, it's not too bad. What's that? It's the heat shield, or heat blanket. So we've seen some like little white smoke rising from the engine bay. It's probably just the heat blanket or stuff getting heated up because it's the first time. But now there's nothing, so I'm assuming it's probably that stuff. Look at the engine temps. It's kind of hard for you guys to see, but I just seen it go up to 47 as he was in boost, and then as soon as he just started letting off, it already creeped down to 43. That shows how much all that heat protection is. That is really good. Oh, now it's already down to 42. So with the air flowing by, it keeps it nice and cool. So there we go. Adrian finally has one of the things off of his list because that was some big noise.
That's it's a little whiny.
hear them 2 blocks away. That is insane. That's way louder than Project Daily. It's a little more raspy, but there is so much more turbo whine, which is awesome. I love it. It kind of sounds like a diesel, Taylor is saying, and it is just so loud. Anyways, so we got everything done that Adrian wanted. We got all his heat management in and then got his exhaust. So that is going to be it for today. So until next time, peace out and stay humble.